Hello and welcome to another Spoilercast done by the Cutie Art Crusaders for My Little Pony Season 5, Episode 9, Slice of Life, the 100th episode. My name is Flutterguy317, and today I'm joined by Rainbow Plasma.
Hello.
Burned01.
Hey.
And Atmospark.
Hi.
A little bit of pause there. So this is the 100th episode. Oh my god, it was amazing.
Okay, so here's the deal. We are going to make this Spoilercast half an hour long, and there's so much stuff to talk about that we're just going to jump right into it. No summary. Go watch the 100th episode if you haven't already. If you are watching this and you haven't watched the 100th episode, you're dumb. It's about background ponies. It's called what? Slice of Life?
Slice of Life.
God, I love that title.
It is literally the slice of lifeiest episode ever.
Yep. So slice, so life.
Except for the main six, because screw them, right?
Yeah, they suck. So, immediately this episode starts, and, I had no idea what to expect. I actually managed to stay spoiler-free for this entire episode, which was amazing.
One little spoiler.
Yep, I saw one too.
And the cool thing about it was that, it started out, and it's just like, oh, donkey wedding, sure.
Yeah.
But then they dropped the whole derpy thing, and it's like, muffins thing. She was there and being adorable, and it was like, oh, that's a nice little thing that they did for episode 100. And then, the main title thing rolls, and from there it just all goes crazy. Yeah. It was great. Derpy was awesome in this episode. Sorry, muffins.
Yeah,
she's always derpy to me.
Muffins is her code name.
Exactly.
So yeah, I was the exact same way. I because there was so much hype surrounding this episode, and I stayed spoiler free, but because it's episode 100, everything's all hyped up and stuff, and then it's like, donkeys getting married.
Donkey wedding.
Yeah. And then, it kind of went crazy.
They went full, 2 feet, 4 hooves into the deep end immediately, though, with, here's Dr. Hooves, his name is Doctor, he does Doctor Who things, brr.
Yeah.
It was so good, though, because they weren't even subtle about it. There was a scene where they literally jumped a shark.
A plushy shark. Yeah.
They were going through the town, and then they literally jumped over a plushy shark.
Yeah, they were intentionally jumping the shark, and making fun of it. But it was great. It was a brony. It was brony the episode, you know? It was so cool. And all right, so Doctor was cool. He did doctory things. What was next? He went to Big Lebowski ponies.
Before we get to that, I loved his lab slash.
His lab was awesome because it looked just like the TARDIS. It even had the thing in the middle of it. TARDIS has that weird goo glowy thing in the middle. So the flameless flowers, or whatever, were like that in the center of the thing of TARDIS when you walk in.
And he had so many doctorisms from Doctor Who, the great what was it?
Great Wickering Stallions.
Wickering Stallions. Yeah. Alan Z at the very end was so good.
I half wanted it to be like a horse pun at the end too. So instead of Alan Z, it's like Alicorn Z.
That would have been funny.
Now I'm upset.
Can I just come out and say I'm not a fan of the Dr. Pony?
I mean, so I'm with you there. I'm with you there, Joel. Just because I've never been a huge fan of the Doctor Who's thing, but I actually I'm not with you in terms of I actually enjoyed him in this episode because it was canon and it was ridiculous, and this entire episode was ridiculous. So the fact that he was ridiculous just kind of, for me, just matched up with everything else.
Yeah, but that's a cruddy argument though, because the whole point of this episode was everything was overdone and crazy, and that was the spirit of it.
Because this is
everything's so crazy.
I mean, I'll give you that, but I don't know. I feel like it was a bit over.
I mean, you had ponies being shipped,
bit.
and then Vinyl Scratch and Octavia physically going on a giant...
Sorry, let's back up. Vinyl Scratch and Octavia had a room together.
machine rolly thing through Ponyville.
All right. We are skipping way ahead here. Let's talk about Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
You guys are much more into that than I am. So
well, it was interesting. Just the whole progression from the laboratory, and then he's like, oh my god, I need to get my suit tailored, and then they go. And I think the best thing from my perspective in that whole sequence was when he looked at the bowling pins, and all these formulas kind of appeared, physics formulas and stuff, and it was I can't do that. I can't bowl. Spares and strikes.
Straight man.
Yeah.
What is this man you are talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
No, it's great. The entire episode they kept passing back and forth. Like the story went to one person and another. Started with Derpy. Okay, this is gonna be an episode about Derpy. Then it went over to Dr. Hooves, and it was like, oh, okay, I guess it's about Dr. Hooves now. And then they kept passing it back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what a good slice of life episode of a show is.
Yeah, exactly. They did a really good job.
Normally they do it like they have hard separations, like you do one story and then do another story. But the way they did this one was good.
Yeah, so then from the bowling thing, we go to like the big crowd around the main six, which is really, really funny. Has one of the best lines ever by Sweetie Belle.
So the line was, Sweetie Belle, they were mentioning like, oh, either a monster's attacking or there's about to be a friendship lesson. And Sweetie Belle was like, well, if it's a friendship lesson, then it'll be over in about half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
That's great.
It was so meta, though, to actually have like the show be poking fun at itself in dialogue.
Yeah, that's like one of the best, like, that's like mic drop levels of like mod with Discord. Like, oh my goodness. It was so good.
I think one of the reasons why that scene is just so amazing is because of like the self what am I thinking of? Like
self-referential?
Yeah, self-referentialism of the show, basically.
Meta.
Yeah.
The word you're looking for is meta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this episode was incredibly meta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, so it turned out to be a monster, not a friendship lesson. Although I guess in the end we learned a lesson about friendship. But
the giant bear monster was literally a pun.
It was a panda with rings.
It was a panda with rings.
Panda with rings.
Panda rings.
It was panda.
I immediately went. Is that a mythical creature that anybody knows of? To Silver, who was sitting here, she says, "Nah, but a bugbear is a D&D monster, but it's normally a troll. This one's just a pun."
Yeah.
Also, it's a bear that's also a bug.
Bugbear. Yeah.
Hasbro owns D&D, so like they did that as a bit of a reference too.
Yeah.
And so many people make like pony D&D.
Yeah. And so they I mean, there was lots of little references. I mean, that was the scene where like Octavia started speaking. We had Vinyl before when Dr. Hoops was trying to find Rarity. We had Vinyl before, and Octavia they were kind of like teased before they had their big scene. There was other ones like
that was the one scene I had spoiled for me, by the way. I ended up seeing GIFs posted of Vinyl Scratch and Octavia's ride through town and like, what is it, their like music jam session.
I'd seen the
I've heard that was the big spoiler.
I'd seen the speaker thing roll down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's no wonder that people were going crazy over it, but no one could have seen what was about to happen for episode 100. It was so crazy. So, like, there's also, like, Amethyst Star, who is from Winter Wrap-Up. They had a lot of, like, little references, too, like the flower ponies.
Standing next to each other.
Yeah, Big Mac was standing next to Cheerilee, like, tons of tiny references.
My other favorite little bit was when Octavia piped up and she said, "What they going on about?" Like, gave her that British accent, like, used, like, a Britishism. Oh, and then that pink pony from the Winter Wrap-Up episode was like, "Oh, you used to do things for Twilight."
Twilight showed up.
Before Twilight came, I used to organize everything. Now I don't really do anything now, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, when we were watching Max and I earlier today, like we were counting off all of like the crazy things that they could have brought, references and stuff that they could have brought into it, and the only one we think they left out is Trixie.
Yeah. I'm convinced it's because there's a Trixie episode coming up.
I'm fine with that theory. That's what I'll choose to believe.
Well, I mean, also you have to think of it from this way: like, why wasn't Discord there? Why wasn't Gilda there? Why wasn't Tank there? Because they already had episodes, right? Trixie episode?
Well, because Tank's asleep.
Right. I mean, I guess so, but there was other main characters.
None of the pets were there.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll get a Pets episode too.
Episode.
Oh wait, it's called Littlest Pets.
Also, does that mean we're not getting a Spike episode?
Spike was a background pony.
He was there. So then we get the whole Lyra Bon Bon, oh my god, shipping thing.
Oh yeah.
So we've mentioned this before, but Joel and I, and I'm sure like everybody else, but like Joel and I love Lyra and Bon Bon, like that whole thing. And the way that they just did it was so good.
It was the most it was the most G-rated relations I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, like they were just like we're not going to like show that they're in a relationship, but like we're gonna do everything physically possible besides explicitly stating it.
Yeah,
like they
off screen they're totally banged.
You can't say that. Whatever.
I did.
Whatever. So like, you know, they booped noses. They like they intertwined
booped butts.
hooves. They booped butts. Like they kept giving each other that sassy look. You know, like Byrne was saying before, like nobody knows like each other as deeply as we do. Like it was,
yeah.
And they kept making like allegories to relationships. So like when Bon Bon went out the window because she's a secret agent, which we haven't even got to yet, like Lyra's like, we're gonna have to have a talk about this later.
Yeah, when you get home.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was so. I love it so much. It was so good.
And there was when she was like, oh yeah, and I'm a secret agent and I have been all along, and there's this giant monster and I have to go blend into a crowd as part of the solution. So she just jumps out of the window and like slowly backs into the crowd.
I thought that whole Sweetie Drops thing was great because there's this whole controversy amongst the fandom as to whether her name is Bon Bon or Sweetie Drops, and then they handled that perfectly. Now Sweetie Drops has this whole backstory of being a secret agent, whereas Bon Bon is Ponyville.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, they kind of like
was
put
so
that
well
to
handled.
rest. Yeah. I loved it so much. I loved their interaction. It was so good. And they were voiced. I think part of the reason why like it was so good too is because they were voiced by two of the main characters' voice actors, you know? Like we had Andrea Libman, who was playing Bon Bon, and we had Ashley Ball, who was playing Lyra. So it's like these it's like these mix of characters that we know, plus they're doing all the stuff that we wanted them to do with the nose boop and the butt boop and the Can you tell I'm excited?
Right before she blended into the crowd too, when she was jumping out the window, Lyra was like, hey, we're so gonna talk about this when you get back. Like that's so something like someone in a relationship would say. Or in the end, when she's like, I ate those oats for that you had gotten or something.
Yeah, and like, and you're right. Like, it's totally like, oh, I ate your special oats. It's like, because we live together. Get it?
After that line, too, of like, oh, I ate your special oats, I wanted Bon Bon to be like, oh, I got those oats for you, and then they just make out.
All right. So, like, the next thing, then, is also huge, which was Octavia and Vinyl in their half-separated cottage that they live in together. Which is amazing, the fact that they even live together, because that's totally fanon. And then they have that cute separated house.
It's adorable.
But yeah, like their whole interaction was ridiculous. Something that I noticed in this, like, there were so many, like, I love them, of course. I'm going to preface this with I love them. But, like, there were so many unnecessarily long scenes. And their whole, like, music bit was just like, how long is this going on for? Like, what's happening? You know? Oh my goodness, it was good though.
Yeah, I love like just the entrance scene to like, or the opening sequence to that scene, where it just shows the outside of their house and like there's a freaking organ in the place of the chimney, and there's a topiary shaped as a music note out front. It's just like so
bass
absurd.
Claps in the windows.
Yeah,
it's like and they're both music ponies, and she listens to electronic music, and he listens.
Wow.
And there's my fantasies. And Tavi does classical music, but this is why they live together, is because they have this middle. They didn't have Vinyl talk, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, I think that's better. So that scene got so absurd that Tavi's collar came off at one point.
And her bowstring broke. And she started playing with her hoof.
Yeah,
it felt like I was watching an anime or something. Just like something epic happens and your clothes burst off.
Yeah. So, and then, like, so what made the scene, like, even more ridiculous is that it's not even like that just ends and then it's like, okay, that's done now. Like, it then goes into this crazy, like, going down the street, like collecting all of the references together. Yeah. I mean, okay, so before we get to that, actually, there's a scene in between, I believe, with the spa ponies and Stephen Magnet and everything like that.
That was before the whole TV.
That was before the whole.
Oh, really? Was it? Okay, well, let's talk about that then, because like the spa ponies were back, and Stephen Magnet was back with his now canon, like in the show. I mean, now canon in the show name.
What? Yeah, and had Ella and Lotus, and they're doing the spa stuff, and
spa ponies. bones.
Being all sparry and being cool and making ponies up and donkeys up
and sea monsters.
There's Stephen Magnet just chilling in a tub and
magical spa ponies that just kind of teleport out from behind things.
He walks out from behind the tub. Where did you come from? Why? What are you doing with that cream?
What are you doing with that beaker, pony?
That's weird.
Where do you think she got it from?
Where'd it go? Where'd the cream go? It was there the last scene.
She stores it behind the tub. That's all. She was massaging Stephen Magnet.
So can you tell me, because I'm not quite sure, how exactly did Stephen Magnet's name come to be?
So one of the very early YouTube uploads of the first episode, you know how YouTube has these auto captioning things? On that episode, the auto captioning for like when Stephen Magnet was on the screen said Stephen Magnet for something, and so it kind of stuck.
Yeah, it was like people were like looking at that and like being like, "What a ridiculous caption!" And then people looked at it and they were like, "Oh, that's actually kind of a cool name."
Yeah,
and so then they started calling him Stephen Magnet. And he's been Stephen Magnet on like I think some of like the trading cards and stuff before, but it was never in the show.
He was also the best beast.
Well, no, he was best beast of the wedding.
Lee Tokar did such an awesome job, by the way, like coming back to Stephen Magnet and then doing Gummy's voice. Oh my God, Gummy.
Oh yeah, so get to Gummy.
Well, okay, wait. Before we get to Gummy, we got to get to the with the crazy ride through downtown Ponyville, knocking into everything. Byrne mentioned before, literally jumping the shark.
Mm-hmm.
The entire scene of them like busting out of their house and then riding through town, literally jumping the shark, and then because that's just what the scene was. Everything was just. That was one of my favorite scenes, but it ended with my favorite scene so far in all of My Little Pony. Just all of that together. And there was Button Mash too, to like physically bring him back as kind of like a toss to like Jan Animations, and then the dudes who he's with, from like that song, right?
The three characters there are all from that song. The
Perfect Stallion.
Yeah. So there was the one guy with the jelly, Too Shiny.
Also, Alleyway was in the bowling alley.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Gummy.
I love Gummy.
Wait.
I love Gummy.
Dude, we got 5 minutes. Let's go.
So when they hit the cane, when they hit the Twilight cane, and they all fly into the air, it freezes in that slow motion to start the scene with Gummy. Them all flying in the air was fantastic, because you had Mr. Cake like at the head of them, like Superman, just like slowly floating, and other characters posing and making like ridiculous faces and all sorts of mixed expressions, and then like Berry Punch like holding her barrel of punch.
He's just so chill. And then the jelly guy's just, yay!
But before that even, there's a live action scene with horse heads. One of them is Big Jim Miller. One of them's the storyboard artist.
Yeah. So then we get to Gummy.
Yeah.
Which is like the best monologue. This was something where it's like, this entire episode, they were making references to the show. They just made up a new thing, right? With this whole Gummy thing. And it's like,
no, I'm sure it's a reference to something.
It was still amazing.
I've seen it before. I've seen something like it before. I'm sure
Bravest
it's a
Warriors, the Paralyzed Horses log.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was that, but that's just, you see that a lot, just kind of that existential inner monologue of kind of like talking in a very profound way. Like, this is a very classic thing you see in a lot of TV and other stuff. Just that whole scene though, or just that little sliver with Gummy, and he just stops and slows down. Like, what of the gator? Flank forever blank. Like, it was so good. Like, by far, that's been one of my favorite scenes in My Little Pony just ever. Like, I love when cartoons do that. Like Adventure Time too, especially like with the Tote Darter. And oh my god! And just like I just got done talking to Lee Tokar too at Everfree Northwest. It's like this scene is so good for me.
So then we get to the actual wedding because they all kind of crash into the main hall, and there's this awesome scene of Celestia and Luna arguing, which is amazing. They're bickering back and forth.
Sassy sisters, I love it
because they forgot the gift.
I love that the royalty was like just because we never see that before, but we see it in like a lot of fan works, right? Like two best sisters play and stuff like that. So to see them like actually be sassy and like not just be royalty, but like actually be like sassy little sisters, it's great. I loved it.
And then then Dr. Hooves finds a scarf because obviously his suit got lost, and
says Allons-y because of course he did.
Peter New voiced the the Doctor, by the way. He did a fantastic job throwing it in there.
And then the cutest thing ever is there.
Oh my goodness, the little changeling.
The changeling.
Oh my goodness, he just likes weddings. It's so good.
It was adorable.
Good.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the wedding had so much. It had Lyra and Bon Bon making up, which we already talked about. We had the changeling. It had the sisters. It had all of the people coming together. It had a great friendship lesson.
Except for the main six, which was hilarious when Derpy locked him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it was all so great. They had Joel. You brought up the Stephen Magnet grabbed Snowflake or Buff Biceps, and he made a little squee noise.
Like a dog.
So many good faces too. Like whenever we saw Bulk Biceps, like he was always making some kind of ridiculous face.
Yeah. There was a lot of great faces in this episode. There was a lot of really awesome stuff. We've got a minute and a half left. All right, guys. What else is there? Anything else you wanted to bring up?
The fact that only Twilight and Rainbow Dash talked out of the main six.
Yeah, they literally, and there was just lines like right near the end and maybe a grunt here or there.
Mm-hmm.
But they really played it up. I wanted to touch a little bit more on the friendship lesson because I think it was really awesome lesson. You know, like like everybody's their own main character and their own storyline, and like you need interactions between like different people to make the story so interesting. Which was I couldn't believe that they managed to bring together this shenanigans-filled episode into something that actually made sense.
Yeah.
But they did!
Yeah.
God, they're amazing.
Really quickly, I wanted to just talk about the pacing of this episode because I thought it was really, really well done.
Better than our pacing of our episode.
Yeah, I know. They had these like really long shots, like with Vinyl and Tavi, and like the whole like ride into the wedding and stuff. But like everything fit into its own place and like progressed from scene to scene really, really nicely. Which like this episode, despite it being like craziness everywhere, like fit together, and it was one of the most fluid episodes I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
All right. So we're at the 25-minute mark. I'm giving everyone 1 minute to summarize your feelings about the episode, and kind of just put it out there. What you liked, what you didn't like, whatever, and then we'll have whatever remaining time there would be to wrap up. So let's start with Joel. What did you think about the episode? What did you like?
Fast and fun.
You have 58 more seconds.
Fast and fun.
Well, like, what else did you like? What scenes in particular?
I like the Derpy thing. Sorry, Muffins thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like Gummy.
Yeah.
I like Lyra and Bonbon like the most, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Snowflake. I like Snowflake.
What did you like? Was this one of your like favorite episodes? Was this?
It was pretty good, pretty up there. There should have been more Cloud Chaser. She should have talked.
Yeah.
More Cloud Chaser. Fair enough.
In fact, there were only like 2 Pegasuses at the wedding.
Well, everybody knows that donkeys are racist. So.
Yes.
Whoa.
You were all thinking it. All right. Let's go to Ted next. Got a minute.
I think just all of the insane references to like things that the fans kind of pushed over the edge, like from Dr. Hooves and Derpy to like the cane showing up again. Like the cane was just something that Sibsy put in to that episode, and like they had no idea that like it was going to turn into this big thing, and then it like blew up that season, and so it made it into this episode, and just like it was a good mix of like canon and fanon things that came together. Like the whole Big Mac Cheerily thing was canon, and it was nice to see a nod to that. And then like the whole Lyra Bonbon thing was semi-canon, and then mostly fanon. And it was just it's so good. Such a good shout out to the fans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, Burned.
Oh man, I absolutely loved everything about this episode. Like every little over the top bit, like. Everything from making Dr. Hooves into the Doctor, and then like make Derpy Hooves like a legitimate main character, to shipping all of the characters like Octavia, Vinyl Scratch, and Lyra and Bonbon, like the crazy things that we as a fandom have done. Like it's made this episode just so freaking magical. Like this show wouldn't be what it is or where it is today if it wasn't for us. And then to like actually have that episode like for us is just it was something special. And like
Yeah.
That whole thing of jumping the shark and like basically to joke about that because like it in a way it's not jumping to the shark. It's not purely pandering for us. It's an episode that's made out of appreciation for what we are and like who we are and what we've done. So it's not just pandering to get us to watch it. It is like it's quite literally like a thank you for like the things that we've done and the things we've attached so much to and created so much love for, even seemingly innocuous things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it was just so good. Like everything about it was so good.
All right. So, what you were talking about there, what is one of the reasons why I really love this episode. It was an episode for us, you know? It was their way of saying like, yeah, we acknowledge you on Twitter and we acknowledge you on external sources and at cons and stuff, but this is really our way of showing you that we care, you know? The stuff that you come up with as fans, we appreciate that. We value that. We think that's valid. We think that's just as valid as what we come up with. And this is the episode to prove that what you do is just as valid as what we do, and we appreciate it so much. Me personally, I loved the Lyra and the Bon stuff. I loved more Octavia. I loved just the way that there was so much love packed into this episode, directed towards me and to you and to every brony who's put in time and effort into this episode. This is my favorite episode of the entire 5 seasons of My Little Pony. I loved this episode, and that's all I have to say about it. It's my favorite episode of all time.
Same. So that about wraps up our Spoilercast. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoyed Season 5, Episode 9, the 100th episode, Slice of Life, because it was fantastic.
We're sorry if it happened to be like a bit fast, but there's so much stuff to talk about, and there's so much to get through that we really needed to like be on a schedule here. But we'll be back next week in our regularly less mode, hopefully, unless they manage to one-up themselves.
Which I don't know. It's it's hard to beat that. But so thank you guys again for watching the Spoilercast and for watching CAC every week, because you're amazing for doing that. We're gonna start pandering to our fans. Yeah,
we gotta start pandering more to our fans.
What are we like? Are we PBS now?
Yeah. No, we're Hamburger Helper.
Anyhow, thank you guys again for watching, and we'll see you next week for another Cutie Art Crusaders episode and for another Spoilercast. My name is Flutterguy317.
I'm Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Burn01.
And I'm Atmospark.
And we'll see you later.
Bye! Bye.